But I do have receipts, and I have the clip as well.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Oh no, I have receipts. I just didn't want to do that. Wasn't my whole like.
Let's move on from that.
They really love me. It's my turn.
They really love me, it's my turn. You got a problem, I let that iron bust.
So today it's my turn to talk about Bobby Lee. This is my third video on this whole Lord, Logan Paul, George Janko, Bobby Lee, Mike Majawaka situation. I know it's Malak. So pretty much if you guys don't follow this at all, basically there was this man named George Janko who used to be the third host on Impaulsive. Impaulsive is a podcast hosted by Logan Paul and Mike Malak. So back a couple years ago, basically they had this guy named Bobby Lee on the podcast. Now for y'all who don't know who Bobby Lee is, he's essentially a comedian. I'm gonna be honest, this comedy is very weird. I mean, this guy like smells women's feet, licks women's feet, kisses women on the cheek for comedy. It's very interesting, it's very random, and this guy has a very cool fan base of like very open-minded people who tell you to jump into deep bodies of water with a backpack filled with rocks. So I already made 2 videos about this topic, but today is the big day because Bobby Lee has just responded and apologized to George Janko on the actual George Janko podcast. He set it up, and it's very interesting because if you guys go back to the older videos, George said that he hit up Bobby Lee multiple times to do a podcast and that he never responded. Maybe it was that Mike episode that launched this entire collaboration into full gear. Who even knows? But I'm excited to check this out. We will be checking out a short clip of their interaction, not the entire podcast. Like, do you guys genuinely expect me to sit down and react to an over hour-long podcast? Make a 2.5-hour video? Like, would you want that? No, seriously, like, would you want that? Because I have never once made a tipster video, and I'm sort of tempted to make like an hour-long video documenting everything. But again, that's a lot of work and I'm kind of lazy. So anyways, leave a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And let's begin.
Oh, way to go.
Oh, way to go. What is that intro, George? I mean, I'm not trying to judge, but I'm genuinely curious. What are you saying in the intro? Is it you? Is it your dad? Who's talking?
So George, we'll talk about other things, but I want to open up by saying that I'm sorry. I feel
Wait a minute. Okay, so all past bullshit drama with this guy aside, all of his past wrongdoings aside, let's see if he actually cooks with this apology. Because so far, I mean, he just started it, but yeah, sorry.
I just want to break down what happened with the Jake Paul podcast.
Got it.
Okay. So I usually do podcasts in my ecosystem, right? So it's like I know the rhythms and I know what I can and can't say. And
Bobby Lee is actually spitting because whenever I'm making videos, they have to be in a controlled ecosystem where I know what I can and can't say. And YouTube does a great job of explaining that to us. But real quick, does this picture look a little bit similar to some of you guys? But all joking aside though, it's a very good move for Bobby Lee to be doing this podcast with George Janko, where hopefully they can get on the same page and clear the air on the overall situation. I mean, this guy Bobby Lee literally touched George's dick and balls on, I think, over 6 occasions, and now George Janko wants to collaborate with him, and they're gonna be doing work together in the future. Nice.
Generally, everything, is people are pretty open to, they know who I am, right? But with you guys, I didn't know, so I came, and also it's a huge platform.
Real quick, obviously we're gonna watch the entire clip and hear what he has to say, but my overall takeaway on that little sentence, or I should say wordplay right there, was not very good. He said when he hops on podcasts, most people know who he is, and I think that he's using this as a way to justify his actions, which is like fucking egregious. I mean, in our last video, we took a look at a bunch of different clips of Bobby Lee making people uncomfortable. I mean, smelling feet, touching feet, kissing people's faces, humping the dog. That was just me. But if he's gonna go with the narrative like, oh, well, when I get invited to podcast, usually people know my humor, and then it's like, if he's using that as a crutch or like a shield to defend his actions, that's like actually so laughably pathetic. But let's see where this actually ends up going.
So I was like super nervous. So, I tend to get bullyish and out of survival.
So, okay, so George thinks this is like actually hilarious, but I don't find this funny at all. So basically, Bobby Lee is doing exactly what I said. So out of survival, he gets bullyish. So he touches people's crotches. Like, what are we even doing here, Bobby Lee? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Incoming Bobby Lee fan? Clearly you don't get his humor. Maybe when I see you, I'll touch your crotch. You'll find it funny as shit.
Okay.
And you looked at the weak calf. I get
No,
it, dude.
You're not a weak cat.
No, I get it, dude. I get it, dude. I would do the same thing if I saw him.
Oh my god, Bobby Lee is going for his prey, his next target, his next victim.
No, you can't eat him.
I didn't say it, George did.
Okay.
Stop.
So anyway,
Tommy, get
I
over
can
here.
get a taste.
Save
though.
my dog. Get him
Think
out of
he'd
here.
be so delicious though.
Dude,
I
he
just
would.
took his tongue.
I saw you lick him before he licked you.
Yeah. God, no MSG or anything. I love it.
Yeah, I love dogs. They taste good. Am I a part of the podcast?
But anyway, so when number one, I don't even. I do so many podcasts. I don't even remember what I said or did or didn't do. I remember moments.
This has got to be one of the biggest slaps in the face to George. One of the most infamous moments of your entire career. A moment that changed the trajectory not only of your career, but your personal life, okay? Friendships were never the same. Everything changed. All because of Bobby Lee. And he doesn't remember shit, or so he claims. Actually pathetic. Yeah, I just coincidentally forgot about touching your cock and your balls and putting my balls in your face. And, you know, I forgot about it, dude. You can't be mad at me. I'm sorry if I offended you.
And also, secondly, when you walked off the set, I literally was confused by it. I don't know the drama behind the podcast. I know that you had written this speech.
Translation. Bobby Lee states here that he was confused as to why George Janko stormed off of the podcast after he groped him over 5 times in the balls. I mean, you genuinely can't make this shit up. Like, Bobby Lee really gets on George Janko's podcast, goes to his house, and he's gonna sit here and claim, yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't really know what's going on. I'm troubled with a deep memory loss. So basically, I just get away with anything I want, and that's that. And if you're mad, you're mad. My fans love me. Yours don't. Bye-bye. You suck.
I wish I had writers for it.
Right? And, you know what I mean? I thought the comedy instinct was to say that it was, like, boring or whatever, and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that, and I truly don't remember, and it is on brand, but I don't remember ever trying to touch you. But if I did that, I literally don't remember, but if I did that, I'm sorry.
What? I don't remember touching you. If I did that, I'm sorry. Dude, you haven't seen a clip of this shit? Well, I shouldn't say that, because I know there's a lot of people who don't watch their stuff back, and like Bobby Lee's basically like, I don't know, he's like a top tier comedian celebrity, so there's a very good chance he hasn't seen that clip, but you haven't heard about it, the response, I mean, no one talks to you about this shit. I don't know, I guess Logan Paul did such a good job covering for this guy that he's had no reason to even think about his actions on that podcast until now.
I do it for comedy reasons. I don't know anything about your religion or who you are. In fact, I didn't really know I know who you are now, but I didn't really know who you were, and but you know, with all that being said, I really truly apologize. I mean, I love people. I love podcasting, and I think that you're a voice that people talk about now, and you know what I mean, you're here, and
Dude, is this guy fucked up? What the shit is he talking about? Yeah, I'm sorry if I touch you. That's not me. I love people. I touch everyone. I touch people from back in the day. I touch people now. But it's for comedy, and everyone gets that but you. Also, man, you're killing it on YouTube now, dude. You're a voice. You have over 2 million subscribers, dude. You're chill, man. Let's be friends. And George's response to Bobby is actually even more pathetic than Bobby's response in itself. There's no backbone, even though he was on the record saying how all this shit ruined his life. And I understand that people are now going to the comments right now to be like, oh, well, he's a Christian and he's forgiving. And if you want to go with that, I mean, sure, man, run with it. But this whole podcast comes off as a complete clout grab to me. George Janko's in this big beef with Impaulsive, and he's trying to tear them down. And then you got Bobby Lee, who, I mean, he just wants to be cleared because this shit's probably fucking with him. I mean, even in this podcast, he does say that he's gotten a bunch of angry comments saying like, oh, if you touched me like you touched George, I would fight you. And I mean, those comments are kind of warranted a little bit. I mean, nobody should go out and harass this guy, but it's like, when you do that on a podcast publicly in front of millions of people, what do you expect to happen?
I just apologize. It's like,
Thank you, bro.
I'm sorry.
All joking aside.
Seriously.
For real, I really appreciate that. Can I tell you what really hurt me though?
I don't think Bobby Lee gives a shit about what George has to say.
I ain't Ringo, bro.
You're George Martin.
No, do you know what I'm talking about or not?
No, but with you, you mean with you?
You called me Ringo.
I know. So who are you, George Harrison in that?
I'm George Janko.
Okay, you're George Janko.
That was fucking awkward.
Yeah.
I knew exactly who you were. And I said this on the episode with Mike, and I'll say it again in front of you. Oh, I do appreciate your apology. If it was me and you and we were just messing around and we were like having a podcast and you kept grabbing me because I know your comedy, I wouldn't be bothered by it. I know who you are, I know your comedy, I've seen your podcast. What bothered me on that episode was my friends weren't being friends.
Didn't back you.
They didn't back me, bro.
Yeah.
They saw that I was actually going through things and they stepped on me when I was down. And it just felt like I wasn't in a place where the people around me wanted me to succeed. I apologize that you kind of got caught in this whole drama that...
Yeah, I'm sorry about the drama that you had to face. I'm sorry about all the bullshit you had to go through, you know? It's not like it's your fault or anything. I mean, what the fuck is this podcast?
we were all put into. But I just want to let you know, before, after, and during, I'm a fan of you, man. I really am. I like your comedy.
You're gonna make me cry.
No, I really am, bro. I really am.
Yeah. Thank you. And let's just put it behind us.
Yeah.
Let's work together in the next few years.
This is literally a blood money oath between George Janko and Bobby Lee. I got it all figured out. So basically, all the pressure got to Bobby. He was like, I need to appease this. I'm tired of being called out about this shit. George, let's do the podcast. George sees the money signs. They do the podcast. It's awkward as fuck. Everyone's kind of happy. I don't know. Not really.
But I do have receipts, and I have the clip as well.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Oh, no. I have receipts. I just didn't want to do... That wasn't my whole, like...
Let's move on from that.
I don't even know whose side to take on this. I don't even think I'm gonna take a side. I mean, Bobby Lee's a freak, and then George is a psychopath. I mean, that's the only way that you could really feel about this drama. I mean, unless you're biased. Everyone in the situation's fucked. But if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. And thank you.
Gentlemen, let's say you're having trouble getting it up and you want to buy something to fix that problem.
I don't fuck with fake love, you can keep that lust. I don't got a drug problem, but I feel a rush. I am finally up, don't hit my